What's up? Hope you're all well. Everybody share this. Give this a like. We're going to talk about the James Comey interview. A couple other things probably. We're going to be talking about the James Comey interview that he had with Fox yesterday, where he admitted to negligence in the FBI. What up, Red Dragon? What's goody, my man? How you doing, bro? Hope you're all well. That's what's up, my bro. That's what's up. How's everybody doing today? Y'all good? Hell yeah, bro. Sometimes you gotta YouTube it, you know what I mean? Saying. Cause it bees like that sometimes. Word. Doing good. That's what's up, Sasha. Word. So yes. Come on, come all. Let's chat. Let's chat. Sorry for the messy hair. Messy hair don't care, you know what I mean? Because it bees like that sometimes. How's everybody doing? Y'all good today? I hope so. Yo, what time is it for you, Red Dragon? Let's address that first. Because it's got to be pretty early. Or late. I don't know. I don't know. $4:15 a.m. Yeah, it's early. Early as hell. That's what's up, though. What the hell are you doing awake? What are you doing awake right now? So, James Comey, man. Former FBI director. I don't know if you guys are aware of who he is. Press 1 if you guys know who he is. I'm a night owl. What's sleep again? I hear you, bro. I hear you, bro. But yes, press 1 if y'all know James Comey. Who he is, what he was. 7. So you don't know who he is. Well, he used to be the FBI director. Who investigated 4 people that were in the Trump campaign. And yeah. He had an interview with Christopher Wallace yesterday of Fox News. And he admitted to great deal of negligence in the FBI into 4 people who he investigated that were in the Trump campaign. And it's just like, dude. How do you let this fly? He kind of like tries to backtrack and kind of stay on the same side that he's always been on, but kind of didn't. Like, it's hard to explain. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to watch the interview, discuss it, do all this fun nonsense. By the way, first of all, I think Comey just looks stoned. I think he just looks stoned, like, immediately. So yeah. You'll see what I mean here in a second. Tell me he does not look high. Like he just smoked a crap ton of weed. Like, bro, you're no longer FBI director, so now you're just blazing it up. Puff, puff, pass. Yep. I lost interest, to be honest. Not really big news. Being from a different country. True. Tell me he does not look like a stoner, though. He looks like he's high as hell. I feel like a lot of Americans don't care either, but I feel like we should. We should care, personally. But, you know. Americans will be Americans, I guess, right? I had to get that out from away from his face, because, I mean, that was just, like, in the middle of his face. It just kind of looked weird. Nothing wrong with being informed on what's going on in your country. Absolutely not. Good thing, actually, for sure. Absolutely. So, yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are, like, completely misinformed. Although there are a lot of people who are informed as well. So, James Comey had this interview with Chris Wallace on, yesterday, on Fox, and it was extremely interesting, to say the least. So yeah, we're gonna play it, and he kind of like backtracks, but he kind of like stays on the same path that he's been keeping on. That like the investigation was nonpartisan, blah 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 blah, nonsense. Just suck on a yitty type shit, you know. But I don't know. It's Comey, who clearly might be on the buds now. He clearly might be smoking the weeds. I don't know. Looks like he's ready for some nachos and cheese. He's like, Chris Wallace, that's not your cheese. That's my cheese. That's not your cheese. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just stating facts. That's all I'm saying. That's it. I'm just stating facts.
Former FBI Director James Comey. Director, welcome to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks for having me.
You have been taking something of a victory lap since the IG report was released earlier this week. The question is whether or not it's justified. Here are you and the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, answering the same question.
Do you think this is vindication?
It is. I mean, the FBI's had to wait 2 years while the president and his followers lied about the institution. Finally, the truth gets told.
Does your report vindicate Mr. Comey?
It doesn't vindicate anyone at the FBI who touched this, including the leadership.
The IG says you should feel no vindication.
Ha!
Well, maybe it turns upon how we understand the word. What I mean is that the
What do you mean by that? I don't get what you mean by that.
FBI was accused of treason, of illegal spying, of tapping Mr. Trump's wires illegally, of opening an investigation without justification, of being a criminal conspiracy to defeat and then unseat a president. All of that was nonsense. I think it's really important that the Inspector General looked at that and that the American people, your viewers and all viewers, understand that's true. But he also found things that we were never accused of, which is real sloppiness, and that's concerning. As I've said all along, has to be focused on. If I were director, I'd be very concerned about it and diving into it.
Well, sloppiness may be a euphemism for what it is he found. One of his big concerns is the way the FBI handled the FISA applications and the warrants that allowed you to surveil Carter Page, who was a former foreign policy advisor to the Trump campaign. Again, here is what you said about the FISA process and what the Inspector General Horowitz said this week. Take a look.
I have total confidence that the FISA process was followed and that the entire case was handled in a thoughtful, responsible way by DOJ and the FBI.
We identified significant inaccuracies and omissions in each of the 4 applications, 7 in the first application and a total of 17 by the final renewal application.
17 significant errors in the FISA process, and you...
That's a huge jump right there. From nothing to 17. I don't understand how they could be so different.
You say that it was handled in a thoughtful and appropriate way.
Yeah, he's right. I was wrong. I was overconfident
I was wrong.
in the procedures that the FBI and Justice had built over 20 years. I thought they were robust enough. It's incredibly hard to get a FISA. I was overconfident in those because he's right. There was real sloppiness. 17 things that either should have been in the applications or at least discussed and characterized differently. It was not acceptable. And so he's right. I was wrong.
But you make it sound like you're a bystander, an eyewitness. You were the director of the FBI while a lot of this was going on, sir.
Sure,
Get
I'm
'em.
responsible for that. That's why I'm telling you, I was wrong. I was overconfident as director in our procedures. And it's important that a leader be accountable and transparent. If I were still director, I'd be saying exactly the same thing that Chris Wray is saying, which is we are going to get to the bottom of this. Because the most important question is it systemic? Are there problems in other cases?
Is that the most important part? Or is it that you messed up as FBI director? 'Cause to be perfectly honest, I think that is the biggest thing. Just saying.
One of the central issues is the role that the Steele dossier played, which was Oppo research paid for by the Democrats, what role it played in getting the FISA warrants to surveil Page. Again, here's your version, and again, here's the Inspector General.
My recollection was it
Come on
was
with the
part
facts.
of a broader mosaic of facts that were laid before the FISA judge to obtain a FISA warrant.
And we concluded that the Steele reporting played a central and essential role in the decision to seek a FISA order.
Boop.
Horowitz says it wasn't part, as you told Brett Baer, it wasn't part of a broader mosaic. He said it played an essential role in establishing probable cause. In fact, he says, if it hadn't been for the Steele dossier, the FBI probably wouldn't have even submitted a FISA application that had been reviewed in April of 2016, or August rather of 2016. They decided not to do it. They get the Steele dossier, they do it. It wasn't part of a broader mosaic. That's what you said, sir.
I'm not sure he and I are saying different things. What his report says is that the FBI thought it was a close call until they got the Steele report, put that additional information in, and that tipped it over to be probable cause. It's a long FISA application that includes Steele material and lots of other material. I don't think we're saying different things.
Well, I think you are, sir, because he's saying, you're saying it's part of a broader mosaic. It's just one element. He's saying...
Yo, Chris pins him down. Chris is a good interviewer.
It was the tipping point. It's what brought it over. That doesn't make it part of a broader mosaic. It makes it the centerpiece.
I don't know why he looks so confused at the questions that he's being asked right now.
Of the whole FISA application and the ability to surveil Carter Page.
Yeah, I don't understand him to be saying that. And I could be wrong about that.
Well, I got his quote here. He says, we concluded the Steele reporting played a central and essential role in the decision to seek a FISA warrant, that it pushed the FISA proposal over the line in terms of establishing probable cause. I mean, he says what he says. Words mean something.
Yeah, and I agree with his
love it.
characterization. I'm
Words
just confused. I don't see the disconnect between the two of us, and I'm sorry that I'm missing it.
Well, you don't see a difference between it's part of a broader mosaic and it played an essential role in establishing probable cause? It
was one of a bunch of different facts that were assembled to apply to the court. It was the one that convinced the lawyers that they had enough now with that added to the pile to go forward.
I guess the question is, it seemed that you were minimizing the role of the Steele dossier, and he's saying it's a lot more important.
Mind you, this was paid for by the Democrats.
Than you let on.
Okay, if I was, then I'm sorry that I did that, but I meant it was one part of the presentation to the court. It was not a huge part of the presentation to the court, but it was the fact, according to his report, that convinced the lawyers to go forward.
All right. Then there's the issue of how reliable the Steele dossier, in fact, was. On January 6, 2017, in the Trump Tower, you brief Donald Trump, president-elect, about the Steele dossier. That same month, the FBI talks to Steele's main Russian contact, the main person on whom he based the dossier, who says, according to the IG report, quote, Steele misstated or exaggerated the primary subsource's statements in multiple sections of the reporting. Director Comey, not only do you fail to go back to the president-elect or president after January 20th and tell him, oh, you know that report I briefed you on? Turns out it's bunk. But the FBI goes back and renews its FISA application 3 more times, and by this point, the FBI knows that the Steele reporting is not credible.
Yeah, I think you're mischaracterizing both what the FBI knew and what Mr. Horowitz says in his report. They didn't conclude the reporting from Steele was bunk. They concluded there were significant questions about the reliability of some of the subsource reporting. That should have been included in the renewals. But when I briefed the president, I briefed him on a small part of it that I told him I didn't know whether it was true or not. I didn't care. I just needed him to know about it.
I think you're mischaracterizing. Steele isn't, or rather, Horowitz isn't saying that the subsource, the Russian contact, was unreliable or was inaccurate. The Russian contact said to the FBI, Steele is unreliable because he misrepresented. Steele misstated or exaggerated the source's statements in multiple sections of the report. He's saying, I told him one thing and he wrote something else. The FBI knew that.
Yeah, but that doesn't drive a conclusion that Steele's reporting is bunk. I mean, there's a number of tricky things to that. First, you're interviewing the subsource after all the reporting has become public. And so as a counterintelligence investigator, you have to think, is he walking away from it because it's now public? Well, and that has to go into your assessment of Mr. Steele.
It hadn't, I mean, if it had become public just barely, this is in January of 2017. This isn't 2 years later.
Right, this is when it blew up, when it was published by whatever the outfit is, BuzzFeed. It was all over the news and had become a big deal. And so
Did you know all of this?
Did you know all of this?
Everything that we're talking about here. Did you know that, in fact, the Steele report was the key for probable cause? Did you know that the FBI had talked to the Russian contact and he said what Steele said he had told him was not true? Did you know this? You're the FBI director.
First, again, the report will speak for itself. I don't believe the FBI concluded that Steele's reporting was bunk after talking to a subsource. But no, I didn't. As the director, you're not kept informed on the details of an investigation. So no, in general, I didn't know what they learned from the subsource. I didn't know the particulars of the investigation.
But this isn't some investigation, sir. This is an investigation of the campaign of the man who is the president of the United States. You've just been through a firestorm investigating Hillary Clinton. I would think if I were in your position, I would have been on that, you know, like a junkyard dog. I would have wanted to know everything they were doing in investigating the Trump campaign.
Yeah, that's not the way it works, though. As a director sitting on top of an organization of 38,000 people, you can't run an investigation that's 7 layers below you. You have to leave it to the career professionals to do.
Yeah, but this is the president
who do this for their lives. And if a director tries to run an investigation, it'll get mucked up in all different kinds of ways, given his or her responsibilities and the impossibility of reaching the work that's being done.
Come on,
Comey. And then there is, I've left for last, the worst misconduct. In August of 2016, just 2 weeks into the investigation, the CIA tells the FBI that it actually has a relationship with Carter Page, that when he has these meetings with the Russians, he actually goes back and he tells the CIA about it. But you never tell the FISA court that. And in fact, in 2017, an FBI lawyer doctors a document. The CIA said, oh, Carter Page, he's a source. And he puts in the application, he's not a source.
Yeah, I got to take issue with I'll answer the question, but one of the predications of your question, the Inspector General did not find misconduct by any FBI people. He found mistakes and negligence and oversight.
No, that's not true. In the case of Kevin Kleinsmith, he has referred it for a criminal investigation.
Yo, got him.
Resolve this business with the lawyer changing some email to.
Oh, come on, Comey.
I mean,
What up, Ashton?
Like it's not much. It's
It's very important. It's very important.
I mean, not a source to not a source is a big deal.
Remember how we got here. The FBI was accused of criminal misconduct. Remember, I was going to jail, and lots of other people were going to jail. People on this network said it over and over and over again. The Inspector General did not find misconduct by FBI personnel, did not find bias, did not find illegal conduct. Inspector General found significant mistakes, and that is not something to sneeze at.
Don't be lying.
That's really important.
Good, how's yours?
American people, especially your viewers, need to realize they were given false information about the FBI. It's honest, it is not political, it is flawed.
Would you agree that the FISA court was also given false information by the FBI?
I think that's fair. The FBI should have included, or at least pushed to the
That's
lawyers
the best
so they
thing
could
you've
make a
said all
decision.
interview.
Information that you just said, things like that another agency had not a source relationship, but some kind of contact relationship.
Okay. I want to get to three last questions. Okay. And one of them has to do with how serious what this is. You've talked a lot about mistakes or sloppiness. Horowitz concludes 3 separate teams made significant errors in 4 separate FISA applications on one of the FBI's most significant cases. I mean, the investigation of President Trump and his campaign.
He was Trump. I have to keep correcting you. President Trump was not being investigated. His campaign was not being investigated. 4 Americans, 2 of whom were no longer associated with the campaign, were being investigated.
Okay. He was asked how he explains it. Horowitz, here he is.
It's unclear what the motivations were. On the one hand, gross incompetence, negligence. On the other hand, intentionality.
Gross negligence, or they intended to do it. They intended to lie to the FISA court.
It's not working.
You were in charge during a lot of this, sir. And in fact, you signed the FISA applications.
Sure. I think I signed at least 2 or 3 of them. He doesn't conclude that there was intentional misconduct by these career special agents.
No, he just says it's one of 2 things and he can't decide. Gross negligence or it was intentional misconduct.
Well,
that's what he said.
I've read his report. He says, we are not concluding that there was intentional misconduct by FBI.
Did you hear what he just said here?
I did. I don't know the context of that. I've read
He was asked specifically, how do you explain it? And he said gross negligence or intentionality.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. He doesn't find intentionality, but that doesn't make it any less important. As director, you are responsible for this. I was responsible for this, and if I were still there, I'd be doing what Chris Wray is doing, is figuring out, so how did this happen, and is it systemic? Because that's the scariest thought.
If you were still there, and all of this came out, and it turned out it happened on your watch, would you resign?
No, I don't think so. There were mistakes I consider more consequential than this during my tenure, and the important thing is to be transparent about it, and then look to fix it. And
more consequential than Comey. What could be more consequential than looking into 4 people into the Trump campaign while he was president of the United States? Dude. What could be more incompetent than that? Off, mind you, things that you knew to be false. Bruh.
Explain to the American people how you fixed it.
A couple of final questions. As you know, Attorney General Barr has been harshly critical of how the FBI conducted this entire operation. Here's how he reacted to the IG's findings of whatever you want to call it in the handling of the FISA applications.
These irregularities, these misstatements, these omissions were not satisfactorily explained. And I think that leaves open the possibility to infer bad faith.
Given the repeated errors, some would say abuses of the FISA process, does Attorney General Barr have a point?
No. He does not have a factual basis as the Attorney General of the United States to be speculating that agents acted in bad faith. The facts just aren't there. Full stop. That doesn't make it any less consequential, any less important, but that's an irresponsible statement.
Finally, here's President Trump, and there's how he reacted to the IG report on the FBI investigation.
They've destroyed the lives of people that were great people, that are still great people. Their lives have been destroyed by scum, okay, by scum.
I'd like your response to that, and I'd like you specifically, because you said the other day, where does former FBI lawyer Lisa Page go to get her reputation back? Where does Carter Page go, the target of these FISA warrants and surveillance? Where does he go to get his reputation back?
It's a great question. Carter Page was treated unfairly, most significantly by his name being made public. He's a United States citizen, and it never should have been made public, and that's an outrage. But that statement is just a continuation of the lies about the FBI. The FBI is an honest, apolitical organization. Remember the treason, remember the spying, remember all of us going to jail. That was false information that your viewers and millions of others were given. My own mother-in-law was worried I was going to jail. I kept telling her, look, it's all made up. It's all made up. Don't worry about it. But I couldn't say that publicly for 2 years. Well, now I'm saying it on behalf of the FBI. It was all made up. And I hope people will stare at that and learn about what the FBI is like. Human and flawed, but deeply committed to trying to do the right thing.
Director Comey, people are going to have their reaction to what you said, but thank you for coming in. Thank you for taking all our questions, sir.
Thank you.
What a fucking mess. What a shit show. What a shit show. Just saying. Comey, I think you played yourself. Be real with you. But it is what it is. Well, I think I'm going to hop up off of here. I want to come on and talk about it. Kind of show it. And that's what I did. But now, it's time to hop up off of here because I don't think that there's any protests going on around the world. We can double check that real quick. But I think that's all it is. I don't think there's anything going on right now. Whoa. Oh, yeah. See if there's anything live going on. See, there's a lot of things going on about India. Hold on.
Prime Minister.
My apologies. That was really loud. But this is just news, so it's just like a news channel. No live protests going on right now that I can see. But yeah, I'm probably going to hop off of here for now. But as always, I'm always trying to find new interesting things to talk about, to show. We're going to check Reuters. Oh, actually. The spaceship. SpaceX launches satellite in the Asia Pacific region in 6 hours. Senator Schumer holds a news conference. All right. So there are a couple things going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back for Schumer's press conference about the impeachment, and then in 6 hours we're going to talk about space. We're hopefully going to get SpaceX. I think I'm doing a show with Ryan, just Ryan, and Montreal Player over on Twitch tonight at some point, and I'll probably be here and on You Now again. So that's my plans to work. Work, Ashton. That's what I intend to do. So until next time, until later, I will see you guys later. Peace. What up, Peg?